All right, we're going to talk about how to use Highnote, turn every opportunity into a win, and uh, this is content and techniques that we built over the years. A lot of top agents use this method to stand out, to be better, and to win listings. So let's get into it. If you stay to the end, you get this shortcut, this guide, the free guide to winning more listings and more buyers. Uh, Basically, all of the content that you're going to need to put into your presentations to stand out and win. We use this stuff every day, every opportunity. We have a listing or a buyer, and it really puts us over the edge when buyers or sellers are interviewing other agents. So, great thing to do. You know what? Let me move to this screen so that I'm not staring at a different screen. All right. And good free content you'll get at the end. All right. Listen, just to start, I'm a real estate agent too. Just like all of you, I was the #2 condo agent in San Francisco for years, and currently with Christie's International Real Estate. I back in the day, I had built a brokerage called Climb Real Estate, and we were able to propel our rankings up the top 250 in the U.S. in just 5 years. This is the Real Trends rankings. Then we sold Climb to Realogy. And, at Climb, we developed a lot of great techniques, and we taught hundreds of agents how to win and how to beat top producers. And a lot of that stuff's going to be baked into what we talked about today. But the secret is having a better presentation wins appointments. It helps win listings too. And how do you get a better presentation, right? And what is a better presentation? I'm going to show you all of that stuff on this call, right? On this talk right here. And let's get into it. Let me try to set up my thing here better. Okay. And so let me take you back a little bit. These are the number of sales that are happening in the U.S. per year. When we started, it was the peak, and it was hot. Everyone was getting into real estate. Everyone was a licensed agent. Everyone had multiple properties because financing was cheap and homes were appreciating fast. Then it crashed we had the financial crisis and the recession, the Great Recession, and the number of transactions bottomed out to a new low. And today, with the interest rates spiking so high compared to what it was not too long ago, we now have what everyone's calling interest rate lock-in. Sellers, homeowners have a very low interest rate, or a lot of them do, and so they don't want to sell because they have such a great rate. And so what it does is creates really a huge shortage of inventory. You have high rates, which causes buyers to not want to buy, and then they rent. So, you have a problem. And then the ones that do want to buy don't have a lot of inventory to buy, and so prices have gone up, which causes this cycle. Prices go up, then buyers don't want to buy. So it's just all it's doing is making housing less affordable, and are pushing prices up. And so all of us in the industry, real estate agents, brokerages, etc., are for the most part slower. And so why do I talk about that? Well, why I talk about that is because that's when I got started, and this is where we developed a lot of our techniques to win, because you have fewer listings, you have fewer transactions, So you needed to get better at winning these transactions, these listings, and getting attention. Now, we started our brokerage during this time, and it was a really not a great time, as you know, but we started here. We built it into a fabulous brokerage, and really on the back of a lot of our techniques and sales techniques, we grew it. We were really a shining star in the marketplace, and we grew it to a 1 billion in volume with 110 agents at the time here. And in fact, we ended it with 250 agents and way over a billion in sales. So how do we do that? We weren't around for a while. We were brand new to the market, so we were able to come in and explode. Now, the way we did that was we knew that we were the small funnel. We weren't the big one. We were the small guys. We were the little guys. So we had a little chip on our shoulder, and we developed techniques and tricks on how to stand out and beat the top producers. And in the beginning, we weren't the top agents. We weren't around for decades, or a century in some cases, like Cole Banker, who's been around forever, the most experienced, and we were new, and always at a disadvantage. When you walk into an appointment and you're new, or you're not the top dog, or the most well-known, you're always at a disadvantage. So you need to kind of compensate. And what we figured out was compensating. The easiest way to compensate for your lack of sales, your lack of exposure, your lack of not being number one in the area was one thing, right? And, we asked ourselves all the time, how do we beat these top producers? Well, the answer is you got to look like a top producer. And, well, what does that mean? Well, you have a presentation system top producers use. Or if they were to use it, this would be the one, right? And what does that mean? What does that mean, a great presentation? And but what we found out was when you're armed with these great presentations, our agents won more. And so we built a system where our agents would have the best presentations and they would win much more. What does that mean? Gorgeous and visual? They were informative. They weren't just full of fluff. They actually made sense. They were on brand. And they were highly personalized for that seller or the buyer. And as a result, our agents were, one, more professional. Two, they were able to build trust faster. And then three, stood out and won more, much more. And the key takeaway that we had as a brokerage owner and a top agent was having the best presentation turned our agents into top producers. And so that's what we did. We leaned heavily on presentation platforms, and we built our own technology in Highnote and allowing you to stand out. Now, let's talk about the technology. Well, when you have pre-listing presentations, if you send pre-listing presentations, if you don't, you should. There are several things you can do, right? You can have a digital one, you can have a print version, and my recommendation is you need both. And so, you have a printed one, right? And it's a printed pre-listing presentation. It could be a PDF. That you might deliver or print out. You could email this, but the other version is an online interactive presentation, and it's an online website, basically a landing page that really is a traditional PDF presentation in digital form, but it's not just a PDF; it's an online interactive one, and that's what Highnote is. Now, let's talk about the appointment. And one of the key things that you should do before and during and after every appointment to win every sale. Now, every single appointment happens this way, whether it's buyer or it's seller. 1, the lead finds you. 2, there's an initial email or phone call. 3, there's an in-person meeting. 4, there's a follow-up meeting or follow-up discussion. And 5, there's a close. This is in general, every single meeting or appointment happens this way. Now, after the lead finds you, you have an initial email or phone call, right? What you should do is send a SMART presentation, and it's a Highnote presentation, and we call it SMART. I'll explain to you why in a second. But you send something great, and then you have your in-person meeting, and then you follow up with another SMART Highnote presentation. And Highnote is an online interactive presentation, and what it does is when you have it online and interactive, you can see what sellers are looking at. You could see what they're clicking on. You could understand a little more of the sections and the pieces of it that are interest to them. And those analytics will give you that edge to win. And so many top agents have talked about this as the key differentiator in winning their presentations. But when you break up your appointment into thirds, you have a pre-sale, an in-person sale, and then a follow-up sale. It really helps you convert more of these listing presentations or buyer presentations, and it's a proven method that so many top agents use. Now, Chris, my former partner, he's the president of Remax today, and we developed a lot of this. Through his techniques of doing this, sending the one before and sending a follow up after. And this is the exact or very similar presentation to the one he uses, but this is a pre-listing presentation, and this is the section. These are the sections that are in this pre-listing presentation, and we use a form of this today as we speak. We have a great video at the top. Then it's about getting to know the agent, getting to know Chris, getting to know him. Now, let me share my sound in here. And then I'll show you this cool video that he includes in his presentation. So,
I'm Chris Lim, and I'm the founder of Climb Real Estate. I don't know what my favorite neighborhood is in the Bay Area.
Having a video in your presentations before you meet the seller is a great way to stand out. This is professionally done. But you don't need to have it professionally done. It could be just a raw video. Hey, I'm so looking forward to meeting with you, etc. Humans really react well to videos of people. They react well to other humans. So sending a video helps you build a personal connection before your meeting. Now, after this video, in his presentation, he has a team. So he talks about his team. And this is his team, etc. If you don't have a team, you actually do have a team. You have a spouse, you have a significant other, you have a brokerage that supports you, your brokerage owner, your marketing manager, the front desk person. All these people are technically part of your team. So make a team, because you're competing against other teams, and you don't want to be that person who doesn't have a team. And it could be important to your seller or buyer to know that you are busy enough to have a team. Now, then you talk about your brokerage, the power of your brokerage, and then you talk about more about your why your brokerage, showing off your presence in the market, and and then some special services that you provide. Now, it's good to include things that talk about your agent, what you do as an agent, like the 140 things that real estate agents do. But the problem is when you do that, is that doesn't differentiate you from the other agent. So you need to provide something or show something that makes you different. And in our case, we had his sister is an interior designer. So she was on staff as part of his team. Now, you know, and so that's the way, how you can build this team. You can have special services or people that that you can include on your team. And having something like this is a way to stand out and differentiate yourself. So now we talk about the next parts are, you want to show your sales track record or current listings, and especially targeted towards, that seller's home. So in this case, we were pitching a development, and so we included 3 developments here that sold in the past or we're currently selling. The other thing is you want to have a neighborhood validation slide, and here is where we talk about how we sold a lot in your neighborhood. And 25% of sellers will go with the agent that sells in the neighborhood, or the top person that sells in the neighborhood. If you don't have any sales in the neighborhood, you're going to be at a big disadvantage compared to an agent that sold 3 in a neighborhood, for example, right, recently. So what you need to do is talk about how your brokerage sells a lot in the neighborhood, because chances are you may not be selling a lot in that neighborhood that you're taking that listing in or trying to win that listing in. Now, after you've gone through that, you want to talk about generic things like the marketing timeline. When you are selling a home, what are some of the things you need to consider? What is the marketing timeline? In the beginning, it's planning, advisory, off-market prep, listing goes on the market, you're in contract, and then you're closing. So then you want to include that. These are all included in our packages. Offer, after an offer is accepted, what happens to get to closing. So having this sort of information helps clarify the process for a seller, because as you know, sellers don't sell every day. They don't know how this process works. So explaining that process is great, and a really fantastic way of clearing their mind and helping them understand. Now, understanding the home's value. You never ever want to send the home value before showing up. Why? Because you could be wrong. What if you're undershooting the home value? And worse, what if you're undershooting what the seller thinks their home is worth? Because 9 out of 10 sellers thinks their home is worth more than actually what it is worth. And they're either wanting more or they think it's worth more. Doesn't matter. You don't want to come in with a number lower than what they think it's worth. So never send ahead of time, and have a conversation with them first and then send something. So you don't get any value with sending something ahead of time other than potentially messing up. So instead, what do you send? Well, something like pulling tax records is a great thing to send, because for various reasons. One, you get to see who's on title. So whoever is on title, as you know, is the decision makers. They're the ones that are going to decide who they're going to go with to sell their home. Then you could also show public information that is, about the home, like how many square feet, how big is the lot, how many beds and baths, so that it's a discussion point with them, especially if they think it's smaller or bigger, and then we could see if the tax records are correct or not. The other reason why you do this is because it helps personalize the presentation. It shows you that you did your homework ahead of time. And so you're going to stand out. If you do something like this, you're going to stand out versus someone that's just sending something generic in. So pulling tax records and inserting them here is great. And then, what's the value of your home? You put this in as a teaser. Sure, I'm going to show you the value of your home, but after seeing your home and then meeting with you to discuss what your expectations are. Because, seeing a home is everything. seeing the view, feeling the home, seeing what the upgrades are, where it is on the block, understanding what the home is worth. You need to show up in person, right? You can't be, otherwise you just send in a Zestimate. The whole point is that you are an expert and you can't give a valuation without even going to the home yet. So don't do it. All right. Then after that, you want to talk about your partnership. You want to talk about the listing agreement. You want to talk about you want to include your listing agreement in here. And why? Well, it's a sign of strength. It's called assumptive close or presumptive close. And it's a closing technique that really signals and puts in the mind of the seller or the buyer that you're here to sign this agreement. And it's a great sales trick that demonstrates confidence, and it really puts an idea in their mind. Okay, this person's ready to sign, ready to go, and it's a great sales technique. The other reason why you want to include it is because if you send this with a tool like Highnote, you get analytics. You get to see all the sections they're reading. You get to see if they're reading the listing agreement at all. If they're reading the listing agreement, and guess what? You have a serious seller. And so including this is really powerful way to know. Now, the next part is you talk about your commission. You want to address the NAR commission lawsuit. Especially now, what is the impact of the NAR commission lawsuit, or what are commissions now? Because the narrative out there in the media is commissions are too high and the government has done something about it. And it's true. Commissions are a little too high. Now, of course, we earn a lot of our commission, but sometimes, in some cases, it's a little higher than what people feel like it should be. And so you need to kind of talk about the NAR commission lawsuit, that all it did was just change the way agents were paid. And so you got to address that. My testimonials, put your testimonials in, and then why you. So this pre-listing presentation is the best pre-listing presentation out there, in my opinion. Get to know the agent, my team, the power of my brokerage, my special services. Here are some sales that are like your home. I know your neighborhood. My brokerage knows your neighborhood. Here's what happened during a sale. Here, what's the valuation of your home? Well, I'm not going to tell you that now. I'll tell you that later. And then this is how we work, go forward. This is how we proceed with the listing agreement, commission, my testimonials, and why me again. So every presentation tells a story. The story is why you. So you send this ahead of time. You make sure they read it. And this way they are ready and pre-sold, so that when you're in person, you can focus on things like their goals, their home, their personal situation, and not having to talk about, how does the sale process work? How does the offer process work? You want to inform them ahead of time and talk about it ahead of time. Let's see. Is there any questions? I'm going to do a little demonstration on how these analytics work. Thanks. I have to leave for closing. Can I still get the free? Sure, Brett. Yeah, we will send that to you as well. Now, for those of you that are still around, I'm going to show you a Highnote presentation here. And this is a Remax one. And this is what the interface looks like. And this is what I'm going to send out to you now to demonstrate how the analytics work. So easy to do. All you got to do is create a share. You say share, and I'm going to make this a link, and I'm going to say demo 625. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this password protected. Not password protected. I'm going to make you put in your email to view it. And I'm going to generate this link. So I have this link for you, and I'm going to paste it in the chat. Now, everyone open this link up and interact with the presentation. But this is what a seller or buyer would see and when you send them something like this. And and then I'm going to show you on my side what happens when you're opening and interacting with it. Great. So we see Denise at Dublin.com opening it up. She's on a Safari browser on a mobile device. That means she's on her iPhone opening this up. Great. Now I also see Lisa opening this up, and then I see Chris opening this up, and he checked out the power of Remax. Lisa checked out the Remax Home Sellers Guide and checked out Remax is voted #1 most trusted real estate agents in the USA. Let's see what else other people have looked at. We have Shannon at the Pet Luck team open it up as well. And we also see Nalani at danielsales.com opening it up. Now interact with some of the sections, click on some of the things. And okay, so look, for example, what I can see is Nalani, she opened up Remax Seller Experience, right? So I know really clearly the things that you're looking at and the things you're not looking at. And you use these analytics to tell yourself, great, here's how I proceed with this presentation and appointment. And it's a great way to win and close listings. Now, after you've met them, right? So after you've met them, what you want to do is close them, especially if you haven't closed them at the appointment. Sometimes you can close them at the appointment, but a lot of times you can't. Why? Number of reasons. One, they have to interview other agents, right? You're not the only agent in the world. And two, they have to think about it and then discuss it as a family. And then three, you need to get back to them about what you think the value of the home is. So it's a perfect opportunity to follow up with the presentation and another presentation. And you're asking yourself, well, why would I just do another presentation? Well, think about it. Your commission is on the line here. Your potential commission. An average commission is at least $10,000. So are you saying you would not spend another 10 minutes to build a presentation, or even if it takes you an hour, but with Highnote, it'll take you 10 minutes to build another follow-up presentation to go for it and try to win this thing? So don't send one, just send, you really should send two. Your competition is maybe sending nothing at all. And this is what a follow-up presentation looks like. All right, we walked through the home, and here are my observations. Then here's the strategy that I recommend for selling your home. And here's the target demographic. Here's the likely buyer for your home. Here's the timing of when we should sell your home. And then here are the CMAs and broker price opinion, recent sales, most relevant comp, baseline comp, etc. What's the value of your home? Now you could put any sort of CMA in here. You could put a cloud CMA. We use the MLS CMA in our neighborhood because we really need to cherry pick these comps, because in San Francisco and in a lot of these areas, you can't just assume just because a home next door is sold for $1 million that your home's would be $1 million too. They're not cookie cutter homes. They could vary tremendously based on view, condition, etc. So we need to cherry pick these things and really be smart about our comps and delivery of the comps. And so we break them up like this. You don't have to do it that way. You could insert a cloud CMA or whatever CMA program you want. Then, online property values. Online property values are rarely accurate, as you know. They can vary up to 5% or more, and that's a huge swing. But they are looking at it and relying on that information. So you want to talk about what the online property values say. Now, the other thing is dangers of overpricing. You do not want to overprice the home, and you want to tell the seller that. And why? There's many reasons, right? And we have that all included in here. Next steps: sales and marketing calendar, importance of disclosure. Reason now, here's sales and marketing calendar. Step week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, right? This is what we're gonna do. And then you want to talk about disclosure. You want to talk about why your home isn't selling, and all these reasons. Seller presence at showings. Don't be a seller sitting there. Poor listing quality, overvalued property, etc. And then let's get started. A summary of my recommendations, sample listing agreement again, my team, my testimonials, and then why me again. Now, all these sections sent through Highnote, you'll be able to know what they're looking at. So if you send this follow-up presentation and they're spending a lot of time on this, they're spending a lot of time on the comps, maybe they're spending a lot of time on the calendar. If they're spending a lot of time on the calendar, that's good news. They want to know what's going on. And they also, if they spend a lot of time, again, on the listing agreement, they're close. This is time to follow up and close these sellers. And then if they're going to your testimonials, that is another sign that, hey, they're considering you, but they don't know anything about you. So they want to read what other people are saying about you. So taking your presentations to the next level and sending something great like that helps you not only stand out, right, from other agents, because that's the number one thing you need to do is stand out from the other agents. Do more than other agents. Be better than other agents. This is a very simple way to do that. And it also helps you win these listings in ways that you never could have done before. And think about this. You have nothing to lose except thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars. All right, so let's see. Are there any questions? All right, great. Ruth, we don't have domain name customization. We are going to be rolling out that feature at some point. We are working on doing that. But a lot of people, what they do is they make bit.ly links and they redirect to the presentation. So, that's an easy way to do that. Or any link shortener. Google has a link shortener, etc. But we don't have that built into Highnote today. All right. Any other questions around the presentation or anything like that? Let's see. That don't have a sales, no specific area. Roger says, for those that are new, they don't have any sales, or no specific areas. This seems to be presented for those who are seasoned age. Not really. The point that I made about how your brokerage, you want to talk about your brokerage sales. That's the point, is that if you don't have sales in the area, then you talk about your brokerage sales, right? But if you're new and don't have sales, you need to stand out. You need to come out with a better way that you're going to be better than the ones that are seasoned. And this is the way we do it. This is the way you do it, is to be having a better presentation than what the top agents would use. And don't just rest on sales and testimonials, because you're never going to win then. If you don't have the sales and testimonials and track record, well, how are you ever going to win if you're just going to compare based on that? So you need to make the comparison about something else. And very often it's about the tools, the techniques, the thoroughness, how much better of a marketing agent you can be, and what's the technology you use to sell. So this is a great way to stand out. And so, Roger, I hope that helps. Let's see, what other questions? All right, yeah, Roger, you asked. You can start and stop your subscription anytime. So it's a monthly subscription, yes, but if you wanted to say, oh, you won't have business for 3 months, go ahead and cancel for 3 months and come back when you need it. So that's the best way to do it. All right, now, this is you as an agent. You have a listing appointment coming up, and the problem is you want to present things to your seller, and your information's everywhere. It's in this drive, it's on your desktop, it's in the cloud, it's in your brokerage cloud, whatever it is. You have Matterport, you have videos, you have Zillow reviews, you have everything. Now, Highnote brings it all together, because what you do is you drag and drop, and you throw things into Highnote, and then we build this presentation for you, in effect. Now, but usually the options, you could go download a template somewhere and then build it. And Or you can use some of these fixed tools like Cloud CMA, Moxie Present, um, and however, the customization options are very limited. And then three, you can have your marketing team build you something. But all of these take a lot of time and they're very difficult. So what you end up doing is you end up sending an email full of links and attachments, and you give up, right? We've all been there. We've all done this. And but when you send something like this, two problems happen. One, it's very hard to read. It's very hard to understand, right? It's just email technology, which hasn't changed in 40 years. And then two, you don't know what they actually read or interacted with. So Highnote provides you that feedback and that understanding. Um, and in summary here, what I'm trying to tell you, you absolutely need a great presentation today. Leads and listings are few and far between. So anytime you get a listing, you gotta win it. You have to win it. Why? Because you don't know when the next listing opportunity is gonna come up again. So you spend all this time to build your reputation, to build your website, to do social media, to do YouTube videos, and to be at open houses, and you get a lead, and you're not going to do everything in your power to win that lead. It makes no sense to me, right? It makes no sense to me. That lead is tens of thousands of dollars potentially. So why not do everything in your power to convert that lead? And you need to have the best presentation, and it needs to be an online one, because your sellers and buyers are expecting you to be tech forward, right? And you're a real estate agent, but they want you to know and be tech forward and be on top of all the latest tech and all the latest and greatest in to sell their home. And this is a great way to signal that. And a lot of agents have said this, that when they use a tool like Highnote, they stand out, and the sellers know that they are tech forward, and they're therefore going to be on top of it when they market their home. So that's what Highnote is. It's a next generation real estate sales platform, AI, digital, interactive, and drag and drop, easy to modify on the fly, easily create with drag and drop. Just drag and drop a link, a file, and it inserts, it creates things automatically. You can duplicate these presentations easily so that you can use it for the next one. And listen, your buyer and listing presentation will stand out and going to win. And notifications to analytics, you saw it, I demonstrated it for you. This is one of the coolest features, and a great way to understand the buyer or seller's mind and see what, when, how many times it's being read. AI Asset Builder, have AI help you build. You just upload sources. AI will create the content for you, so you spend less time building your slides. Done for you template service. We also have templates that are proven to win, and we have buyer ones, we have seller ones, and what this is a one-on-one meeting, fast turnaround time for the first draft, multiple template styles, unlimited edits, custom PDF editing we have for extra, and there's a full Highnote tutorial, and we make sure that you get it right. We also have a guarantee for this service. You pay for this, buy this service. We set it up for you, guaranteed to win a listing or your money back. Glenda Baker, Highnote is one of my highest ROI real estate tools. Katie Day won 23 listings worth more than $11 million with Highnote. Dylan Hall, he's a 21-year-old rookie. Highnote was the absolute difference maker for a listing he won. He was competing against the number 3 agent in his city and beat that agent because of Highnote. Michael Minson, they canceled the other agent's appointments after spending 2.5 hours reviewing his Highnote pre-listing presentation. And this agent, Michael Levine, used it right out of the gate to snag a $2.25 million listing and a $599,000 listing. It's amazing. And more use cases, client updates, open house sign-in, marketing or digital flyers, winning offers, recruiting, closing docs, It's like having 10 tools in one. So when you buy Highnote, it's not just listing presentations and buyer presentations, but having a platform like Highnote allows Deborah Blue here to present every aspect of her communication from nurture to close, winning offers. A lot of agents send offers with Highnote. And why? Because it makes your offer stand out and you get to see what they're reading. And digital flyers, sending property flyers or making new property flyers using Highnote technology to do it. It's a great way to send out one presentation to many, many people and get analytics and see who's really interested. Sales portfolio, having a way to showcase what you're currently selling and listing. Email signature, put in your email signature. You could have as a link in bio. Great way to do that. Welcome book. A lot of welcome books are made with Highnote, for buyers, for sellers. So for buyers buying a home and you want to include everything in the welcome book. Agent to agent walkthrough. This agent makes this great. It's gone. I don't know where it is now. Anyway, we need to find that next time. But what he does is he makes little walkthrough videos for other agents to see, especially if they're selling the home on Lockbox, which a lot of homes are sold through, where you're letting the agent show the property, but you want to send this information ahead of time so they know what to focus on when they see the home. And the great thing about this technique is he uses this technique to win more listings. How? Well, he shows the seller this is what he does for every listing. And guess what? Not many listing agents, go through that effort to make a walkthrough video or walk through a Highnote like this. And so he wins a lot of listings this way. Client update, seller portal. A lot of agents will use this to keep the seller or the buyer organized and informed into the process of all the work that you've done. And why do you do it this way? Well, it's number one, it takes it out of the email box and it puts it into somewhere nice, a nice client portal. Number two, it reminds them how much work you did for that buyer or that seller, so that when they go to review you, it's top of mind to them. My gosh, this agent did so much for me. Closing docs, we send closing docs with this. It's a great way because next year when they open up the Highnote and see the closing docs, you get triggered. You get an analytics saying that they're looking at their closing docs, and it reminds you to reach out to them. So it's a great way to have clients for life. Neighborhood guides, annual real estate reviews, open house sign-in, recruiting, so many things that you can use Highnote for. Done for you templates. Let's talk about that real quick. Again, our service. We talked about the service earlier. This service, we guarantee that you're going to win. And if you use these presentations and use Highnote as described, and if it doesn't help you win more, we will refund your money, guaranteed. And let's talk about Highnote, how much it costs. $39 a month, $33.25 a month paid annually. If you pay it annually, you get 15% off. But even better, we have a discount code that we're going to give you today as well. And the Done For You listing presentation service or any presentation service, well, we help customize, build these presentations for you. It's $350, $349, regularly $750. And again, the money back guarantee thrown in that you're going to win with this service, and you're going to win more of your money back. So having a great presentation is the easy way to win. Here's the webinar code. Web 2026, 20% off of everything. And if you go to highnote.io/purchase, or if you want to see more, book a time with Chris. He gave his link to you there. And with 20% off, the special rate turns the $33.25 into $26.60. So such a great discount, and it's an easy $26 to guarantee winning more listings and winning more buyers. Try it. You will be surprised at how impressed your buyer and seller clients are. And okay, free guide. Scan that. How to win more listings before your listing appointment. How to make sure your listing appointment is successful, and how to wow buyers before an appointment. Scan this code. You're going to get this free guide. And I want to thank you for being with me. And I hope you learned something about it. If there are any questions, please message us. You could always email us as well. I'm going to post my my email in here if you want to reach out about anything. And let me know if you have any questions. And that is it. But I'll wait a couple seconds here to see if there are any questions right now. Great. Chris, Lisa, did I cover everything? Think so, right?
Yep, you got it all.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you,
yeah,
everyone.
you covered
Thank you.
everything.
Cool. Thanks so much, and happy selling out there. And see us next time. Thanks again.